Alrighty, we should be live. I'm going to make sure we're all working, and then we can get started. Okay, audio sounds good. Looks like he beat me to it. All right, so we've got a pretty big stream here, for obvious reasons. OFL Bowl 24. We are on number 24. Time flies. As we've got the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. And I think this OFL Bowl is, in terms of like importance to league history, I think this is going to be one of the biggest ones because these two teams legitimately have been the two best teams across this OFL cycle. So I think the fact that we had them playing against each other in an OFL Bowl might very well determine which team, when it's all said and done, ends up being the best team of OFL 23. Both of these teams have made it to the bowl. They've both won the bowl. And now they're looking for another one. Let's go Frank, SG, Noah, Lenny, Nick, Candy. If I missed anyone, hello. Tell us a surprise. I'm not going to do that. Maybe later, but that day is not today. Mainly because it mostly hasn't been worked out. There's still a lot of small kinks that need to be established before I can even say anything. Just so I know that, like, everything's all good. First came out of the Plummer era. Everything before this, including the conference championships, were part of the Plummer era. Now, everything that happens afterwards is, like, real. And this is a really big game. The two number one seeds, Dallas went 16-1 this year, while the Bills were the last undefeated team, lost a few games in the middle of the year, even had a tie, but still went 13-3-1. They did not have Jonathan Taylor for either of their playoff games, but they now have him healthy. Now, both teams have had some scares, each winning their playoff games by only one score. The Bills squeaked by the Jets because of some missed kicks, and they were barely able to hold on against the Raiders, while the Cowboys needed a big drive to beat the Eagles, and they almost got Simcast cheesed by the Commies, which brings us here to the OFL Bowl. Nick and SG both looking to join the illustrious group of coaches who have multiple championships. So before we do anything else, we've got to determine our user. Who's been the best team of every OFL? That's a good question, Mr. Denmark. 19 would have been the Rams, 20 would have been the Niners. In terms of championships, 21 and 22 would have been the Bucks and the Seahawks. But if I remember correctly, the Bucks weren't the most consistent. And then last year, after the first 2 years, the Seahawks sucked balls. But in terms of championships, it is those two. All right, the random number generator has landed on 2. That means we will user the Cowboys. Speaking of number 2, let's get controller number 2 ready to rock and roll. Steelers, Cougars, OFL Bowl next. We'll see. Normal whites. Okay, that's easy enough. They preyed on my downfall. I'm sorry to hear that. They won. Kind of. I mean, I guess you did accomplish what you wanted to, but still, in a sense, they won. Is SG here to pick his jerseys? I know he'll be here soon, but I don't know if he's here now. I imagine he'd want something with the Reds, though. So, red helmet, I would imagine he'd want for sure. Oh, there's a bunch of different choices. There's 90s and there's 2000s. Which one looks better, guys? The 2000s one just looks darker. That's not the right one. I just realized Real Football is on. I didn't make the connection that we'd be streaming during the Thursday night game until like 10 minutes ago. But we're already here. So I guess I can multitask. Who's even playing tonight? The Ravens and the Bengals. It's actually not a bad Thursday night game for the first time in like a month. Oh, there he is. 2000s, dark blues with red helmets. Okay. So, that. Perfect. All right. Easy enough. Alrighty, gang, let's get this show on the road. OFL Bowl 24 for Kobe. Can't create more save data and for this app. If that pop-up message, I don't even know if you guys can see it. If that message shows up after every play, I'm going to be salty. I don't think it will, but it better not. Anyway, OFL Bowl 24. The Buffalo Bills and the Dallas Cowboys. Every OFL iteration we've had, there's been at least one, actually I guess only one team, to win multiple championships. Actually, OFL 20 had two. There's at least one team that's won multiple championships during the cycle. And our last two champions here in OFL 23, last season, the Buffalo Bills with a dramatic victory against the San Antonio Dreadnoughts in one of the most memorable OFL Bowls ever. And then the one before, the Cowboys won in another one of the most memorable OFL Bowls ever, but for other reasons that we will not disclose. Did I choose the wrong jerseys? How did I pick the wrong, like the 2000s jerseys? Since the game hasn't started, I can quit out and do it again. It's not like we missed a play. This year is my stepping stone to the real contending next year. Well, I hope for your sake you're right. Cowboys whooped the cow. Did I say the Cowboys whooped the cow? You know what I meant. I don't want to say it, though. Okay, red helmet. This jersey. Okay. It's that jersey. Is this correct? Oh, it's probably like a dark blue set of pants, too. Like, that matches that color. Yes. These. Alright, now we're good. Take two! I don't need to go through my whole intro spiel again. I already did that. We can hop into the game now. Where's the location? Isn't this in Miami? It is. That probably doesn't bode well for the Bills. They're used to playing well in the cold, and now it's like hot. I don't think that matters, though. It looks like the Bills are going to start with the ball, so we'll get a look at Isaiah Thomas, Jonathan Taylor in the offense. And one of my favorite storylines about this Bills team is that, obviously, oh my God, the can't create more save data for this gamer app thing popped up again. Okay, we're going to quit again. I'm going to delete some save files, and then we're going to start from the top. I don't think you guys can see it, though, but that's going to be annoying if that pops up after every play. All right, let's try this again. When the Bills can't get missed field goals anymore. I don't think EA wants this game to happen. They realize that it's like such an important game for the OFL 23 cycle that they're like, let's just not let it happen. Why didn't I do that before? Because I didn't think this was going to show up. You know, maybe I should have thought to do it like the first time I quit, but I didn't think it'd be an issue. I don't need all these like random numbers. These can go. I don't want to accidentally delete too much though. All right, now we're good. All right, take three. This is going to be the last take, okay? This is the one. Third time's the charm. No more issues. Red helmet, 2000s jerseys, 2000s pants. All right, there we go. Okay, now we're finally ready to roll. Dallas will start on defense again, so no one can get mad. But as I was saying during the kick return, one of my favorite storylines about this Bills team is the fact that Isaiah Thomas, who's probably the most cursed user player we have, he might actually win a championship. Believe it or not. Isaiah Thomas has been a user player, I think, since the end of OFL 20. Could be wrong. It might have been OFL 21. But he's been like a good-ish player throughout his career, whether it's been as a quarterback or as a running back. But he's never won a playoff game. And wherever he goes, that team seems to do worse. while the team he leaves seems to do better. Last year, he was on a great Browns team that could never get over the hump. But this year, he's on the Bills, and he makes it to an OFL Bowl. And now we'll see if he can finally get over the hump and win one. As it's Jonathan Taylor on the first play from scrimmage. He gets 15 yards. Man, the Bills got to be excited to have him back. He's been out since the end of the regular season. They did not have him or technically need him for their first 2 playoff wins. And Cookie Carlisle did play pretty well in his place last week. But obviously, with him back, they're certainly going to like that. Once these teams fall off, it will be the Frank era, I'm sure. Isaiah Thomas's first pass of the game is out of bounds. The receiver was open, too. Should have made the throw. 2nd and 10. Fake jet sweep over to Jonathan Taylor. Another good run. Does he get the first? He definitely does. He gets around 11. So the Bills are looking good early with Jonathan Taylor. Now, last year, a big reason why the Bills won the OFL Bowl was the turnovers, and Trayvon Diggs in the secondary won the OFL Bowl MVP. Dallas's OFL Bowl MVP was also on defense with Kaiser White, who is no longer on the roster. Tristan Wirf's hurt. That's kind of the big deal. He's a very key cog to the Buffalo offensive line. Did that show him go into the locker room? I wasn't looking. It looked like he wasn't, so I guess that's good news for the Bills. 2nd and inches. Jonathan Taylor's already in the zone. Thomas fakes the sack from T.J. Watt, and he's incomplete. T.J., he's got to make that tackle. Can't miss that on a 2nd and inches, because that completely changes the course of the drive. Instead of 3rd and inches, it's like 3rd and 12. Watt sends pressure, makes up for it as Goddard loses a yard. Kevin Byard brings him down. What do you do on 4th and 1? This is quite the predicament that the Bills have put themselves into at the 45. Do you go for it or do you punt? Oh my God, why are they kicking? That's the one decision you can't make. You can justify them going for it. You can justify them punting it. You cannot justify this. Oh my God, he made it. Okay, never mind. Harrison Butker drills it from 62. Alrighty then. That's not the start I expected. Harrison Butker puts the Bills ahead 3-0. Even though he made it, I still think that might have been the wrong call. I guess that's better than a punt, because Dallas would start with questionable field position and it'd be 0-0. Don't do that again, Buffalo. It worked, but I would not advise you do that again. All right, here's the Dallas offense led by Joe Burrow, Nick Chubb. Very similar group offensively, at least in terms of the key guys to what they had back in Season 2. Mike Evans still here as well. He seems to have been getting better with age, if that's somehow possible. Both of these teams have an elite secondary and corners you don't want to throw the ball towards as Burrow goes deep on the first play, and it is caught to the 42 by Curtis Samuel. Curtis Samuel can move. Probably the fastest player on this offense. Showing it here. That was a really good throw as well. Shout out, Joe. That throw is on the money. First down, Burrow rolls out under pressure. Hit as he throws, incomplete. You still owe him interest for Joe Burrow. What does this interest entail of? I would like to know. Nick Chubb, his first carry of the game. He gets around 6. Nick Smith, coach of the Dallas Cowboys. How formal. How do you like your defense on the Bills' drive? That's a great question. Burrow on the run. It's incomplete. It's tipped. I imagine you'll kick it here. It's a 53-yarder for Chris Boswell. Barker made one from 63. There's no excuse not to make this. It's up. It is. It looks good, and it is. So both teams start off with field goals. Each drive ends up being a little bit different. The Ravens was a little longer than the Cowboys. Dallas's was only 4 plays, but they only needed 4 plays. Oh, wow, the Ravens already scored. That was fast. Not me over here who picked the Bengals as an upset. No, definitely not. All right, here comes the Buffalo offense for drive number 2. Their first drive, they ran the ball really well. Jonathan Taylor looks like he hasn't lost a step after he missed the last 4 weeks. We didn't see a whole lot out of Isaiah Thomas, though. So I'm curious to see if they can really get the passing game going. But as long as JT's in the zone, keep feeding him the rock. I don't blame them if they're just going to try to run it down Dallas's throats. They ran it well last week with a backup, albeit against a worse front unit. Here's Thomas on the run, floats it up right into the hands of the defensive back who drops it. I think that was Kyle Duggar who had it right in his hands. He's got to catch that. 3rd and 7. Thomas looking downfield. He's got Jamar Chase wide open for a gain of 24. So the Bills capitalize off of Dallas dropping the ball, and they'll bring it to midfield. This has been a fun start. I know we're 4 minutes in and it's early to jump to conclusions, but I think this really is going to be one of the best OFL Bowls we had. And last year set a high standard. I don't know how we're going to top last year's. That's one of the 2 or 3 best ones we've ever had. There's another nice play. Is that Jamar again? It is. I don't think Jamar Chase caught the last pass. I think I was wrong. That might have been Calvin Mentor. Is Calvin Mentor number 1? I think so. Yeah, Calvin's 1, Jamar's 2. So Calvin Mentor caught the pass on 3rd down, and that was Jamar. My apologies. Jonathan Taylor gets 3. I forgot what happened last year. Can you inform me? So last year we had the Bills play against the Dreadnoughts, and that game ended up being wild. A bunch of turnovers, down to the wire, and the Bills won with a game-winning field goal by Harrison Butker. Buffalo's got it in the red zone at the 19. Their offense is looking good. And the year before that, I'm good. We don't need to talk about that. Thomas under pressure throws it right into the ground. Good pressure. Before that was an amazing game, right? It was amazing for everyone who wants to see me lose. That's for sure. All right, 3rd and 10 now. The Bills don't want another field goal if possible. They've got to be thinking 6. Thomas has time. Now under pressure, he's sacked. Turned down for Watt. TJ Watt brings him down. And they'll have to settle for a field goal after all. So Buffalo's going to have to settle for 3. Not a bad drive. They brought it all the way to the red zone, but it feels like they could have gotten more. TJ Watt's been really good so far, especially with the Tristan Wirfs injury. He has made an impact so far. He's had a couple of pressures, finally gets the sack. And so it's been a battle of the field goals so far. 6-3, time for Dallas's second drive. Their first one was pretty quick, which they got a field goal. Goddard was open. I don't know if he would have gotten the first down, but he was open like a good 3 seconds before he was sacked. So it's not so much a matter of IT was under pressure. That's a hard throw to make. Goddard was open, and he had time to make the throw. So I feel like he could have made a play there. Curious to see if Dallas can really get Nick Chubb hot. Jonathan Taylor already is, and he's in the zone. So I'm sure the Cowboys are hoping to do the same with Mr. Chubb. Back to Chubb. Gets 4. You don't want to be the first team to punt it. Since both offenses look pretty solid so far, you don't want to be the one who punts it first. 3rd and 6. Joe Burrow looks downfield. It is caught for a first down. Is that Zakai Ross? If Zakai Ross wins a championship, I swear to God. I imagine his Twitter afterwards would be unhinged. As he gains 15 yards. Ross has been pretty good for the Cowboys in the playoffs. Nice throw on the run. That's Curtis Samuel. Samuel's 10. Curtis Samuel with another big catch for a first down. My name is Denmark, the color commentator. How do you feel about the Bills' defense so far? I mean, isn't that what you should be answering? If you're the color guy, then you should be the one saying how you think their defense is. That's not my job. That's your job. But I think their defense, other than the last two plays, has been pretty good. Now, Dallas is starting to really figure some things out. They haven't ran it well yet, but Joe Burrow in the passing game looks pretty good. Diggs on Ross ain't right. That shouldn't be right because Trayvon Diggs is CB1 and Mike Evans is wide receiver. Or no, Trayvon Diggs is CB2. Wait, no, he is CB1. I'm getting them mixed up. He's CB. Wait, no, he's CB2. He should be on the number one receiver. That's what I mean to say, I think. Or however you set it up as. I don't remember off the top of my head. I just know whatever you set it up as is right. I'm getting mixed up. EA is a confusing game. There's a good first down run for Nick Chubb, and Burrow is in the zone. That's a big deal. Out of the zone, he's already looked really good. I don't think he has Trayvon in the slot. And Zakai Ross isn't in the slot either. That'd be Curtis Samuel. And then I think J.C. Horn is the Bills slot corner, yeah. So that'd be the matchup inside. Second and 1, up the middle, and Chubb drops it. I think that's Logan Wilson who got a hit. Yeah, I figured you'd set it up for him to be on Evans. And J.C. Horn is in the slot with Curtis Samuel. Third and 1. There's a nice first down for Greg Dulcich. He usually gets about 6 catches per watched game. So we're waiting for him to really make that big impact. He's at 2. I'm not the only one losing games because my DBs isn't correct. I don't think that's the reason why you're losing. I don't think you can necessarily blame it on that. Like, even though Madden's weird about putting the CB1 on the second receiver, which is stupid, but I mean, I don't think that's the reason why teams are losing games. Maybe in the divisional round, if you had your number one corner on Mike Evans, things would be different. I guess I get that. But overall, I don't think it's like some big issue, especially for teams like the Bills and the Cowboys who have multiple great corners. But yes, Madden is weird about it. Second and goal, Nick Chubb, he's in. The first touchdown of OFL Bowl 24 is from Nick Chubb, and the Cowboys get their first lead of the game. So Dallas now leads at 10-6, and before the extra point, I wish I acknowledged it, the scoreboard said 6-9. Nice. All right, here's drive number 3 for Buffalo. They've looked pretty solid so far. They've scored on each of their first 2 drives. Only field goals, though. Every drive has ended up in points. No punts, no turnovers, which is a surprise with these two teams, who always get takeaways when we watch them. How do you like the Dallas offense so far, since you know them so much from OFL Bowl 22? How about we be quiet? But yeah, Dallas's offense does look pretty good. That last drive was a big one for them, because their first drive, they only had the 1 first down. That should have been picked. Another dropped interception for Dallas. But their first drive, they didn't really show me a lot, minus the 1 big play. But on that drive, they kept getting first downs. Joe Burrow looked awesome. So that was a big drive for the Cowboys. And now this is a big drive for the Bills. Thomas goes short for Jonathan Taylor, and he does not get it. He's a yard shy. Couple of defenders there to bring him down. Kyle Hamilton started it. Zach Cunningham helped finish him off. And we've got our first punt of the game. I didn't think we'd be getting touchdowns or punts, but we just got both within the last minute. So now Dallas has a real opportunity to do some damage. The Cowboys right now had the big 3. They had possession of the ball, they had the lead, and they start with the ball in the second half. If you can get that triangle, then you can really put yourselves in a good spot. Now they've still got to capitalize. But right now, Dallas is in the driver's seat. And they've got control of the car. But the question is, where are they going to take the car? Are they going to drive it into a ditch? Or are they going to go 70 down the highway like Olave from the Saints, but successfully? Because there's nobody else on the highway. That was a stupid analogy, but we'll roll with it. Burrow's under pressure on 3rd and 10. He's going to try to run with it, and he does not get anything. Lewis Seen chases him from behind. That's a big play for Buffalo, and now they will punt it. Dallas had a golden opportunity to really build up a nice lead, and they were unsuccessful. Big drive for the Bills. How many first-round quarterbacks will we see this? In real life or in OFL? Because in OFL, I have no clue. I haven't seen the draft class yet. In real life, whatever number you think it is, subtract it by 1.5. And that's going to be my over-under. It's always less than you think. Or at least it's always less than you think it'll be in November. Maybe not come April, but like November. Because your team is mid. Drag him. Why don't we run it once? That's a good question. I mean, the passing game, I would say, has been better than the run game, but you got to mix it up a little bit. So if I think it's going to be 2, if you think it's going to be 2, then it doesn't really work. I'm more so talking for the people who think it's going to be like 6. I would guess probably it'll be like 3 or 4. It's not going to be a half. It's not going to be that low. This game has touchdowns and amazing defense. When's the last OFL Bowl that we saw both of this in the first half? Probably the one last year. The only difference is that game wasn't very close in the first half, if I remember correctly. Didn't the Bills get off to like a big lead with all the interceptions, and then the Dreadnoughts came back and tied it? But in that game, in the first half, we saw touchdowns and we saw great defense. Technically, the OFL Bowl before that, we got that as well. It was only from one team, though. What a throw by Isaiah Thomas to Dallas Goedert! He brings it to the 2 for the final play before the 2-minute warning. That's the play of the day so far. What a throw by Isaiah Thomas. He was supposed to be sacked by T.J. Watt. Then he breaks out of the sack on the run as Goedert wide open for a gain of 38 yards. And now the Bills can get the lead. Jonathan Taylor does not. Actually, he went backwards. That might take him out of the zone. Oh, no. That's not good for Buffalo. Yeah, he's out. Wasn't that the game where the Dreads had like 5 picks? Yeah, there was a lot of interceptions. But we had touchdowns and great defense, didn't we? Here's Jonathan Taylor in for the first touchdown for the Bills. And they are back on top, 13-10. So Buffalo finally finds the end zone, and it continues to be a really fun start to the game. Now we get to a massive drive for the Dallas Cowboys, who trail. They no longer have the big 3 of having possession, the lead, and the ball in the second half, but they still have 2 of those things. They still have the ball, and they still have the ball out of halftime. So they are the 2-for-1 right here, and they can really do some damage if they A, have a good drive, and B, are smart with the clock. But the priority is to move the ball down the field, because the last drive, they didn't really do that. Love these 90s Bills unis. I think the dark blue goes well together. I thought the combination that we originally picked looked a little bit cooler, but I think in-game, these look really nice. I think these look better in the game than they do like in the uniform screen. Burrow's still in the zone. He starts off short. Maybe if we ran it a few times inside the 15, we'd still have the ball. Maybe. Good throw to Mike Evans. He's been quiet so far. I think that's his first catch. When in doubt, go deep to Mike Evans because he's probably going to catch it. Cowboys call a timeout with a minute left. Time to see if Burrow can do a touchdown in 99 secs. Joe Burrow knows a thing or two about that last word, doesn't he? Burrow with a minute, goes for a screen. Oh, it's the classic Nick play that fails. And guess what? It failed. Shocking, I know. They lose 4. And they have to use a timeout as well. 2nd and 14. Burrow's under pressure. He's sacked by Logan Wilson. They might chew clock here. At this point, in a 3rd and 22, that might not be the worst decision in the world. And that's exactly what they're going to do. The Bills surprisingly don't use a timeout. I feel like they should have. They will now with 24 seconds. I don't think they're going to have a very good opportunity to score. Deep kick in the end zone. Not quite a water punt. That was actually really close. Only off by about 4 or 5 yards. So the Bills are going to have 16-ish seconds and 2 timeouts. I imagine they're going to run the clock out 17 seconds. I would love to see them grow a pair of balls and not. But with the lead, it's not the worst idea. You had the momentum. But Jonathan Taylor gets 10, and they're not going to call time. So they're just going to let the clock go. Okay. So that'll wrap up the first half. It's been a fun start so far here in South Beach. The Buffalo Bills lead it 13-10. Now, Dallas does start with the ball in the second half. Both teams have won in opposite ways. For the Bills, it's been the ground game. Jonathan Taylor has been really solid so far. Isaiah Thomas has had some good throws, but he hasn't been consistently efficient. And then on the other side, Joe Burrow, who historically really hasn't played all that well, especially in big games, he's playing really well today, but the run game with Nick Chubb has started off slowly. Massive drive for the Cowboys here to start the second half, down by 3. They have to score here. Even if it's just a field goal, they need points. They cannot afford to have the Bills get the ball back and winning. A few minutes ago, Dallas had the big 3 triangle. They can't let the entire triangle disappear. Now it's just a point. It's not even a line segment. All they have is possession. But they can use that possession to take the lead. Good start to the half. End of the half, maybe want to murder the OC. Broken up on first down. Trayvon Diggs makes a play on the ball. If Madden 25 already came out 10 years ago, what would the next Madden be called? That's a good question. I've wondered that since Madden 25 came out 10 years ago, and we're going to get our answer in 7 months. What is the Eagles' chances to win OFL Bowl 24? Probably 0. Good throw on 3rd and 5. Big time pass for Zakai Ross. Madden 35. Wouldn't it be like Madden 36, though? Because it's the 36th iteration of the game, not the 35th. A read option. Oh, design run for Joe Burrow. And he got 2. Hard fought 2. What if Roger Goodell makes the executive... I don't think Roger Goodell cares... Oh, you mean about the OFL Bowl? I thought you meant about Madden. I think he cares less about the OFL Bowl than he does about Madden. I don't think he cares about who wins this game. He's not the commissioner, though. I'm Roger Goodell. I can punish you all I want. Burrow on 2nd and 8 under a lot of pressure. Fumbles it. And it's picked up quickly by Lane Johnson. But it's a loss of 17. The tag team of Micah Parsons and Will Anderson, maybe the 2 best pass rushers in our league, bring him down. And it's now 3rd and 25. And Burrow decides to throw an off-balance check down for a loss of 2. That's exactly what you should do on 3rd and 5. Turn around so you're not even balanced and go short. Genius. So Dallas had a really good opportunity. Remember when I said that they were in control? Oh, fumble! Scratch what I said. Just scratch everything I said. I was going to say Dallas no longer had control of the car, but they just took the keys and the wheel right back from the Bills. That's definitely 100% a fumble. That ball was out. 26. Kyer Elam forces it out. And the Cowboys get it at the 19. A game-changing play for the Cowboys. See, this is why the Cowboys are mid. Why do you hate the Cowboys? I don't get it. What happens if they win? The triangle is extended. It lives to see another day. The triangle was destroyed, but now it's a point again. It's not a triangle, but it's a dot. They have the ball. The triangle is now a square. How is it a square? What's the 4th point? Here's Nick Chubb on 2nd down. He gets 2. A field goal is fine, but off of that turnover, getting a touchdown would do so much for the Cowboys. 3rd and 6. Burrow under pressure. It's caught for a touchdown. An OFL Bowl Zakai Ross touchdown. Who would have thought? And the Cowboys will take the lead. That play did not look like it was going to work. Burrow was under pressure. It seemed like he was kind of throwing it into the grass. Micah Parsons came right at him. Pause. But Zakai Ross was there in between 4 defenders. And he makes the play. And so the Cowboys off of the punt fumble, take full advantage to take the lead. And this, my friends, is how you capitalize off of turnovers. It looked like the Bills took the lead at the car, and then Dallas got the wheel back. They took the keys. And now the Bills are going to respond immediately on the kick return. Was that the same guy who fumbled it too? That'd be really funny if it was. It's Wiggins, Dylan Wiggins, to the opposing 40-yard line. We've gotten some real special teams today. And the Bills finally get the ball here in the second half. A lot has happened since they last had the football, including 2 gigantic special teams plays. As Jonathan Taylor gets into the 36. Here's Jonathan Taylor breaking tackles. Goes backwards. Not as bad as 28-0. Nothing that these two teams could do is as bad as 28-0. Nothing. Especially because they're both playing pretty well. Isaiah Thomas on the run for the lead. It's broken up for Devin Wilcox. Sauce Gardner in coverage. And the Bills will look to kick. Butker's already made one from 62. This one's from 54. And he missed it! Oh, wow, he missed the kick! Oh, I thought for sure that was going to go in. He made it from 62 earlier. That definitely had the distance, but it was wide to the left. And everything is going the Cowboys' way. Just a few minutes ago, it looked like the world was falling. It was the punt fumble that has completely changed the momentum of this game. Everything has gone Dallas's way since the fumble. Lamar Jackson is hurt. Wow. So SG's real-life team is getting injured, and FG's Madden team is selling. All within the span of seconds. That must suck. That's gotta hurt. Cowboys now from the 42. Handoff for Nick Chubb. Fumbles it! Oh, Dallas just dodged a bullet. Nick Chubb is not at a very good game. Chubb looking to rebound, but on 2nd and 5, he doesn't get more than a yard. The Bills' front unit has been as advertised today. They've done a great job stopping the run. They've sent pressure, yet they're still losing. 3rd and 4. Burrow's going to scramble with it. He's going to look to run for the first down, and he does get it. Shouldn't have taken that hit, though. That could have easily been a fumble or an injury. It's Rodrigo! Malcolm Rodriguez brings him down. Bills got to put him at fullback like what we're doing. Even though they have like 7 good running backs. Just have Rodrigo above all of them other than JT. He should have been starting at running back the last couple of games. Play action on 2nd and 5. It's Greg Dulcich. He gets the Cowboys in the red zone at the 18. Man, turnovers really can be like complete game swingers. That punt fumble has literally been the difference of this game. If he holds onto the ball, the Bills are winning. I don't know about how much, but they're winning. As John Franklin Myers is hurt. What is the Cowboys triangle now? A hexagon? I guess it's a line segment because they had the lead and the ball. Jets, Eagles would have been better. It would have been funnier, but it wouldn't have been, like, better, per se. Like, in terms of having, like, the best game possible, these are the 2 best teams in the league. These are the 2 most deserving teams in the league, and we have had a really good game. But a Hector Littlejob Bowl objectively would have also been hilarious. So, do we get the ball in the next half? That's a good question. If it goes into overtime, you don't get to pick the coin toss, I don't think. Because the Bills are technically the road team. So they would have the opportunity of tails never fails. Although overtime, like starting with the ball doesn't matter as much in the playoffs, obviously. It still matters, but not as much as like a regular season game. All right, into the 4th quarter. Dallas with a very strong third quarter. It started slow, but the punt fumble completely changed everything. They're winning by 4, and they had the ball at the 9. As Chubb loses a yard. This is probably the biggest play of the game so far. The Bills get a stop. It'll remain a one-possession game. They cannot let Dallas get a touchdown. 3rd and goal. Burrow on the run. He is sacked quickly by Will Anderson. Massive stop for the Bills, and it will remain a one-score game. Put your 4s in the chat, by the way. Derek has the right idea. What a massive play for Will Anderson. It looks like he's in the zone as well. Imagine a Danny Rieger Bowl. I can imagine it. It's called January 6th. Who do you think gets banned first if they play together, Danny or Rieger? I think it would take longer than you'd think because they're both like each other's type, if you know what I mean. So, I don't think, in a sense, they would fully mind each other. Chat cheers as Hiroshima gets nuked. Jesus Christ. Massive drive here for Isaiah Thomas and the Bills. Isaiah Thomas has not been the most efficient. He's only completed 50% of his passes. Now, he's had some good throws. Part of the reason why his completion percentage is low is because he's been really aggressive. He's really trying to stretch the field, and it's worked to a slight extent. But now he needs the biggest drive of his OFL career, down by 7, with 7:23 to go. Good throw over to Jamar Chase, who breaks the tackle from Gardner. And the Bills already have it in enemy territory at the 44. First down, short throw. This time it's Dallas Goedert. Now a 2nd and 4. Short throw for Calvin Mentor. He gets the first down, and the Bills are moving it. This is the start to the drive that they needed. How much of a legacy game is it for these two coaches? I mean, both of these guys are basically in the same spot. They've been the 2 best teams in this OFL cycle. They both have 1 championship. And the winning team, presumably, would be the best team of OFL 23. So there's a lot at the line. What a throw and catch, but he's out of bounds. Jamar Chase did a great job of hauling in that ball, but he didn't get the feet in. It looked like he might have been hit, and he fell out of bounds before he could drag the toesies. I thought in real time he was in bounds, but I didn't get a good look at the sideline, so that was a good play by the corner, a smart play, to make sure he pushed him down before he could drag the feet in. 3rd and 10 on the run. It's intercepted! Picked off in the secondary. I think that's Marshawn Lattimore. That definitely looks like him. No, it's Greg. I thought Greg Newsome was a different number. But lo and behold, it is Greg Newsome with the interception. Who else but 95-cent Trayvon Diggs? If Trayvon Diggs was $1, I think Greg Newsome's a good 95 cents. He picks him off here, the biggest play of the game so far, and the Cowboys get it back. What a massive play by Greg Newsome, who's been so good across this OFL cycle. He's been so phenomenal for the Cowboys, and he comes up massive here in the OFL Bowl, and now it's time to choose some clock. There's Nick Chubb to the 40. Good start. That's Chubb's best run of the game. He's only averaging 3 yards a carry, but I guess that is his best one. I would have thrown a touchdown right there. I don't know about that. Not that that was a good throw by Isaiah Thomas because he was like off balance, but whatever. First down, short throw. Gain of 7. Second and 3. Burrow's under pressure. He is sacked on the play by Roquan Smith for a loss of 4. If Dallas scores even just a field goal in this drive, they're in a great spot because there's only 4 minutes left. So the Bills got to get a stop here on 3rd and 7 or else the Cowboys might be in field goal range. Why are you running screens? What are they what are they thinking? It's broken up by Logan Wilson, and the Bills are going to get another chance. Their defense gets to stop, and now they'll get it back on offense with 4 minutes left on the clock. So Isaiah Thomas in the offense gets another opportunity to tie it up. And I will say, the Bills' offense looked really good for most of that last drive. The problem is, Isaiah Thomas turned it over. And so he cannot let it happen again. 90% chance he throws a pick. That feels a little bit rich. It's possible, especially with a guy like Greg Newsome lurking back there, but 90% feels a bit rich. Here's Jonathan Taylor, good start. Even though there's only 4 minutes left, I don't think you can abandon the run because they've ran the ball really well today. Jonathan Taylor has had a great game, and so there's no need to stop running the ball. Over under 43 points. So basically, do the Bills score a touchdown here or not? I guess you could go either way. I trust the Bills to score, but I also feel like Dallas is very capable of getting a stop. Here's Thomas, goes downfield, it's thrown away. Only 50% completion percentage. 2nd and 10. I don't like that they're running 5 wide. I still think they should look to run the ball a little bit. Thomas off his back foot with a strike. Good coverage by Greg Newsome, who's had an awesome 4th quarter. Not just the interception, but he's had some really good reps in coverage. And now it's 3rd and 10. If the Bills don't get it, what do? I wouldn't mind them going short, try to get close to the line, or chuck it up downfield, hope your receiver makes a play, and he does! Calvin Mentor with the touchdown, and we're tied! Wow! What a play by Isaiah Thomas and Calvin Mentor. Now, Calvin Mentor's not the guy you throw a jump ball to because he's like 5'6". Isaiah Thomas does it anyway, and it works! Oh my goodness, what a play by Calvin Mentor as Duggar is unable to make the play. Calvin Mentor had the big reception in the OFL Bowl last year on the last drive of the game to put the Bills in field goal range and ultimately win the game. And now he gets the game-tying touchdown, and we're knotted up at 20 with 3 minutes to go. I feel like you just gave your mother a heart attack by screaming out of nowhere. I think she's fine. Wow, well that was one of the biggest plays really in OFL ball history, if I'm being completely honest. And now it's time to see what Joe Burrow can do. A legacy drive for number 9. Tied at 20, 2:58. Joe Burrow's had a good game. He has not put the ball in harm's way. His receivers have made some really nice plays. But the Bills' defense has played quite well the last couple of drives. Risky throw, turns into a gain of 7. Good play after the catch by Curtis Samuel. Shaq or Bill Russell? I feel like Bill Russell was more important for the game. So in terms of like a greatness aspect, probably Bill Russell. But Shaq was like the better basketball player. Chubb gets 2, 3rd and 1. Gigantic play as we're at the 2-minute warning. Do you run it or do you throw it? I get that Nick Chubb hasn't been great, but in a short yardage situation, I think I would run it. Knowing this game, they're absolutely not going to run it. Burrow is in shotgun, and it is a pass. Under pressure, it's a screen! And it does not work! Who could have seen that one coming? The Bills get the stop, and they've got the opportunity to complete the comeback. Why are we running screens on 3rd and 1? That is a laughable call. If you're going to pass it, maybe throw it past the line of scrimmage and past the first down marker. I don't know, just an idea. Let's see what Isaiah Thomas can do on the last drive. He had an incredible throw for Calvin Mentor, who's now in the zone. 1:49 to go. Biggest drive, really, of OFL 23 in its entirety. One of the biggest drives in OFL history, guys. You're all witnessing history, so buckle up. 2nd and 10. Short throw for Mentor. It's broken up in the secondary by Marshawn Lattimore as Alex Highsmith is hurt. He's lucky that wasn't caught because Dallas would have had to use a timeout. 3rd and 10 now. Mentor's out of the zone already. Thomas looks to throw it under pressure, launches a rocket as he's hit, and it is caught again! Devontae Smith to the 32, and the Bills are in field goal range. Aaron Donald was right in his face. He just says, F it. Let my receiver make the play. And he makes a play, a one-handed grab in double coverage. What a grab by Devontae Smith. And what a great throw by Isaiah Thomas, who has not had a consistent game, but he has had 2 remarkable passes. Does it win him OFL Bowl MVP? I would say still probably not. Here's Jonathan Taylor, breaks a tackle. Taylor to the 4, and the Cowboys are going to have to start calling timeouts. The one good thing about that run for the Cowboys is that, barring something crazy, they will get the ball back. But, unless the Bills kneel at the clock, which honestly they should, but they're not. Jonathan Taylor's in the zone, 55 seconds left. Both teams have 2 timeouts. They should let him in, and that's exactly what they do. Jonathan Taylor puts the Bills on top. What a fourth quarter for the Buffalo Bills with 2 remarkable passes from Isaiah Thomas. And the second one is finished off by a Jonathan Taylor touchdown. And so the Bills lead by 7. Now the Cowboys have 50 seconds and 2 timeouts. They've got a great opportunity to score. But we got to keep an eye on the clock. We know EA loves to be stupid when it comes to managing the clock. And a turnover essentially ends the game. And they will not start off with great field position. Field goal does nothing. They need an 81-yard drive from Joe Burrow and the offense. Will they get it? 48 seconds, 2 timeouts, 81 yards. That's what's on the line here for the Cowboys. If the Bills get one more stop, they're champions again. And they get the stop on the first play of the drive. It's intercepted by Jalen Ramsey, and he's going to take it to the house for a pick 6. And he has likely just won the OFL Bowl for the Buffalo Bills, who have scored 21 unanswered points over the last, 3 minutes. Well, that was fast. I thought we were going to get, a super, climactic drive. Instead, we don't. And the Bills are up by 14 points. And it looks like they've got this game won. See, Cowboys are mid. I still don't get Pokemon's hate for the Cowboys. I don't get it. So now the Cowboys are hanging on for dear life. This has been as good of a game as we could have asked for. The one thing is that it doesn't look like the last 40 seconds are going to be as climactic and hectic as we could have hoped for. But this game has been awesome. Definitely one of the most fun OFL Bowls we've had. Burrow, no looker. Gets it to Mike Evans, who's out of bounds. So basically what the Cowboys need right now is a touchdown, an onside kick, and another touchdown. Why are they running the ball? Who is calling the plays? I hate to blame play calling in this game for a loss, but Dallas's play calling in the last 5 minutes has been truly disastrous. Burrow goes downfield. It is caught. Nice catch. They're going to have to move quick or call the timeout, which they will. So now they're out of timeouts with 20 seconds. The Cowboys have accepted it. They know they're not going to win. So let's just run the ball. Here's Greg Dulcich. He's tackled in the field of play. They've got to move quick. They're probably going to have enough time for one more play. From the 8. Burrow in the end zone. It's caught for a touchdown by Greg Dulcich. Now, unfortunately for Burrow, it won't matter. Dallas finally gets a big drive here in the fourth quarter. But it's a classic case of too little, too late. And with that, the Buffalo Bills have won back-to-back OFL Bowls as they beat the Cowboys here in OFL Bowl 24 by the score of 34-27 in what ended up being a thrilling, awesome game. Congratulations to SG. He has now won his 2nd consecutive championship. Who's going to win the OFL Bowl MVP now is the question. I think it should be Jonathan Taylor. I think he was really good throughout the entire duration of the game. You could give it to Jalen Ramsey because Madden loves their pick 6s, and I think they will give it to Jalen Ramsey. You could give it to Isaiah Thomas, who had 2 remarkable throws, 2 of the most memorable throws in OFL Bowl history. He was not consistent for the rest of the game, but he made 2 gigantic throws. I never thought I'd see the day, but Isaiah Thomas is holding up a Lombardi Trophy as an OFL Bowl champion. That's how good SG and the Bills are, that they are good enough to have Isaiah Thomas lead them to a championship. 2 different quarterbacks, and it doesn't matter. The Bills win another OFL Bowl, and SG joins the ranks of coaches to have 2 rings. Was it to the fault of Isaiah Thomas that they won? I would say yes and no. Thomas made 2 remarkable throws. He was bad other than that, but he made 2 great throws. As for Burrow, I thought he was the better of the 2 quarterbacks. Now, I will say Joe Burrow was not exactly clutch. When the Cowboys had opportunities in the fourth quarter to either finish off the game or drive down the field and take the lead, they failed. Burrow had a good last drive, but that doesn't matter. They were down by 14 points. The big difference, I think, between these 2 teams was the run game. Jonathan Taylor was really good. Nick Chubb was not. In the receiving game, Zakai Ross played really well. Mike Evans did not play really well. Calvin Mentor had a gigantic catch, as did Devontae Smith. Easily the 2 biggest plays of the game. Without either of those, I don't think the Bills win. Up front, I thought both front units were pretty solid. They both sent a lot of pressure. I think the Bills was a little bit better, though. Big game for Logan Wilson. Roquan Smith also with 3 TFLs. Treylon Diggs did not have that great of a game in coverage, though. He had a lot of tackles. He did have 2 TFLs, but I would argue Jalen Ramsey was better in coverage. So I guess in that sense, you could argue maybe he does deserve OFL MVP because he shadowed one side of the field for like the whole game, and he had the clinching interception for pick 6. Greg Newsome also with a big interception, which we thought iced the game for Dallas, but little did we know the Bills would score 21 more points after that. Well, that was fun. Definitely one of the best OFL Bowls we've ever had. As good as last year's was, this year's game was also spectacular. Let's simulate the week. Let's see who ended up winning the OFL Bowl MVP. I love how we limited Mike Evans. I think that was one of the biggest reasons why you guys won. Mike Evans, who in watch games can really take over. He was quiet. He was shut down. That should have iced the game, but our offensive coordinator is so bad. Again, I hate to blame play calling, but I think you are very fair to say the play calling on offense lost you guys the game. If not for, like, especially that screen on that 3rd and 1, that wasn't the only call, though. That's the one that, like, pops up to my mind is, like, if Dallas makes the right call on that play, they win the game. Jalen Ramsey does win the OFL Bowl MVP, so that is now 3 consecutive seasons that we've had a defensive player win OFL Bowl MVP. I thought it should have been Jonathan Taylor, but I think Jalen Ramsey had a very good game, not just the pick 6, so I'm not entirely going to argue with it. He chose it. He knows what playbook. It's not really the playbook, it's the play call. I don't think, you can't blame it on Nick. Just because he picked a certain playbook doesn't excuse running a screen on 3rd and 1. If Nick made the play call, then you could blame him, but he didn't. So I don't think that's really his fault. Well, that was a fun game, guys. I think that just about wraps it up. I don't think we have to go over anything else. Retirement shows up during the next stage. I don't really want to sim yet. Actually, scratch that. I think I do. We can look at retirements now. I'm going to miss hearing Octi's... What? I upload every day. You can listen to my voice, like, all the time. Just because we're not going to have a stream for, like, a couple of weeks. All right, here are your retirements. How many big-name players are we going to get? I wouldn't be surprised if we have quite a few. Xavier Howard, Demario Davis, Teron Armstead, Ryan Kelly, Marcus Peters got cooked by Mike Evans, and he's like, yeah, I'm out. Javon Hargrave, Shaq Mason, Cameron Hayward, DeAndre Hopkins. Lance didn't have enough money to re-sign him anyway. Stephon Gilmore, DeMarcus Lawrence. Oh, look at this! Jacoby Brissett retires after 11 years. The Nighthawks are going to need to find a new quarterback. Interesting. Okay. Aaron Jones is done. Rob Havenstein is also done. Bengal legend, Houday. James Bradbury, Bengal legend. Houday. Kareem Hunt retires as a champion with the Bills. So how many rings does Kareem Hunt have all time? At least 4. Because he had the 3 with me in OFL Bowl or in OFL 20. And now he wins one with my rival. I see how it is, Kareem. I gave Tank that money and he retires. Look at it this way. Now you have extra cap flexibility. You can spend your money elsewhere. $77 million of available money. Does it show like the new cap spaces now? I think it does. 78 million would be the new money. Although it says Joe Burrow. Wait, no. Are we in 2027? No. Okay, because that's not right. Because Joe Burrow's not under contract. So not all of the contracts would be correct, but the cap space should be right. So if everyone wants to look at their caps here, why don't I check ours just to make sure it's right? 34. That feels. Oh, because Havenstein retired. Well, Havenstein wasn't under contract. That's more than I thought we had. I thought we had like 15. Oh well, I'm not complaining. I think I've noticed teams go up like randomly, so that probably explains it. Although the Bills have -7. How do they have -7? Huh, okay. Washington is like 25. Dallas has a lot. They have 78. Now they still have some guys to pay, including maybe Joe Burrow. We'll see what Nick does there. Oh, it has the years right. The Desperados have a lot of money. The Dreadnoughts have a ton of money. They signed a lot of guys last year, too. But they have a lot of money to spend. Hobie's in an interesting spot. The Eagles don't have a lot of money. They re-signed pretty much everybody, though, including Patrick Mahomes. The Lions have, like, nothing. Good work, Shiesty. The Nighthawks have 162. That's a lot of money. Again, they'll have an opportunity to add a quarterback, presumably, now that we know they need one. New England's going to have a lot of money. We'll see if they can build themselves back up to a playoff team. The Raiders have a ton of money. They've still got some guys to sign, but they have got a lot to spend. The Ravens have a lot of money. Seattle, we know Todd has diligently worked to put this team in a position where they can spend money, and they're going to have a lot to spend. The Steelers have like 170. The Texans even have close to 40. Hear me out. Sam Howell starts. I speak for all of us when I say you should start Sam Howell. Why is he on such a big contract? He's a 66 overall. Okay. You've also got Spencer Rattler. If you want to roll with him, you've got options. Because I needed a quarterback, clearly. $10 million for a 66 in this game? In real life, I get it, but... Alrighty, so that'll wrap up the stream. Certainly a fun one as we make it through another OFL season. I thank you guys all for another great year and a great finish to the season with a phenomenal OFL Bowl between the Bills and the Cowboys, which is ultimately, that's the wrong button, which is ultimately won by SG and the Buffalo Bills in an absolute thriller, 31-24. We've got one more season of OFL 23. I plan on moving through this last season pretty quickly because I know everyone's antsy for OFL 24. I'm really starting to get excited about it as well. So I'm going to try to move through this season even quicker than I did this year. So we'll start with re-signings. The video for that will probably be up within the next few days. I'm kind of busy, so I don't know if I'll be able to make it like super quickly, but it should be up at the latest over the weekend. And I don't want to give you guys too much time to do your re-signings because A, you've already had a chance to do it, and B, I want to move through the offseason pretty quickly so we can get through Season 5 quickly so we can get on to OFL 24. So that'll do it. Hope everybody enjoyed, and keep your eyes on the lookout for re-signings and other off-season related activities.